Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Monday morning, February 13th, 2012 meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. All three commissioners are present this morning, and so we have a full quorum, and I'll ask Commissioner Averill to lead us in the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Catch minutes, Bill.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes of February 6, 2012.
I would second that motion.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes of February 6th. Any questions, comments, or additions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment? Any public comment? Anyone want to comment? I have nobody signed up. Okay, we'll move along.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to approve the notice agenda items 1 through 7, resolutions 12-050 through 12-056.
I second that.
The motion is made and seconded to approve the notice agenda. Would the clerk please read those items into the minutes?
Item 1, call for bids for county legal printing. Bids are due to the clerk of the board on March 26, 2012 by 9:30 a.m. This is resolution number 12-050. Item 2, call for bids for the 2012 liquid asphalt contract. Bids are due to the clerk of the board on February 28, 2012 by 11 a.m. This is resolution number 12-051. Item 3, notice of hearing regarding the 4th 2011 budget amendment for current expense and various funds. Hearing will be held on or after 10 a.m. on February 27, 2012. This is resolution number 12-052. Item 4, notice of hearing regarding the 2011 budget amendment for the Vader water system. Hearing will be held on or after 10 a.m. on March 5, 2012. This is resolution number 12-053. Item 5, notice a hearing regarding the Community Development Block Grant to review community development needs and inform citizens of availability of funds. Hearing will be held on or after 10 a.m. on February 27, 2012. This is resolution number 12-054. Item 6, notice regarding the acceptance of a bid on tax title property located on Highway 603. This is resolution number 12-055. Item 7, request for qualifications for computerized jail video visitation and arraignment network system. RFQs are due to the clerk of the board on March 9th, 2012 by 4 p.m. This is resolution number 12-056.
Are you going to do the legal printing?
The resolution 12-050 provides notice of a call for sealed bids to provide legal printing for Lewis County. RCW 36.72.75 requires county legislative authorities to contract with a newspaper of general circulation in the county to publish legal notices. The current contract expires on June 30, 2012, and Lewis County is calling for sealed bids for a contract for the period July 1, 2012 through June 30, 2013. Bid instructions may be obtained from the Lewis County website or from the Office of the Clerk of the Board of County Commissioners. Sealed bids must be delivered to the Clerk of the Lewis County Board of County Commissioners before 9:30 a.m. on Monday, March 26, and submitted bids will be opened on or after 10 a.m. on that date. This is an annual requirement. Our current provider of legal notices is East County Journal. However, what we generally do is if an item applies to citizens in the corridor area of Centralia and Chehalis, we also put notices in the Chronicle, but the legal paper is East County Journal.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Elsey, Lewis County Public Works Director, speaking to item number 2 on your notice agenda, call for bids for the 2012 liquid asphalt contract. Bids are due to the clerk of the board on February 28, 2012 by 11 a.m. They will be open at 11:30 a.m. This contract will allow Lewis County to purchase liquid asphalt for the 2012 3R program for emulsions for the bituminous surface treatment program, which is BST. And basically, BST is a chip seal over gravel roads or asphalt roads. The project is listed as number 1 on Lewis County's 2012 6-year transportation improvement program. Sealed bids for the 2012 liquid asphalt contract shall be submitted to the clerk of the board by or before 11 a.m. on Tuesday, February 28th, and will be open on or after 11:30 on February 28th. Bids submitted after 11 a.m. will not be considered for this project. We're putting out a 5-year contract for this so that we can continue to use this. We have provisions in the contract so other counties can piggyback on this if they so choose. We're advertising for 5 different types of asphalt emulsion, and I can name those 5 if you'd like, but they're basically chip seal oils and tack coat oils or fog seal oils. And like I say, it can be used by other counties in the piggybacking process.
So if someone wants to bid on this, the specifications are available on the site and then at your office?
Yes. And we're bidding 2,900 tons of asphalt emulsion, and we're planning on doing 77 miles of chip seal this year, including the cement treated base process.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Donna Truman, Budget Director for Lewis County. I'm here to talk about item number 3, Resolution 12052. We're requesting approval to publish a notice for the 4th 2011 budget amendment for current expense and various funds in the amount of $212,600 with an offset of revenue of $167,000 and the balance from fund balance of $45,000. This was noticed in the East County Journal on February 15th, will be noticed February 15th and the 22nd, and the hearing date is set for February 27th.
And I noticed that you said in your opening documents that the amendment's available for review on February 27th.
It's available for after it's adopted. If anyone has any questions, they're free to call us, though.
But you can, I think in our notice that we say that it is subject to change up to the date it's submitted.
Normally, no, but that is absolutely true.
Yeah. So if there were something else that came up, it might be added into the amendment at the time we
That's right. And
have the hearing.
Whenever we have the hearing, we always point out those things that have changed since the noticed amount.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 4, Resolution 12053, is requesting approval to publish notice for 2011 budget amendment for the Vader Water System Fund in the amount of $5,000, offset by fund balance. This is also going to be noticed in the East County Journal on February 15th and the 22nd, and the hearing date for this one will be March 5th, 2012.
So, Don, is this just to cover a shortfall?
This is to cover the overexpenditure of the budget amount. Okay.
Tim Elsey, Lewis County Public Works Director, speaking to item number 5 regarding Community Development Block Grant to review community development needs and inform citizens of the availability of funds. The State Department of Commerce notified special districts about the 2012 CDBG, or Community Development Block Grant funding workshops and application materials in October of 2011. The information has been available on Commerce's website as well. Applications are due to Commerce by March 1st, 2012. To date, Lewis County has received only one eligible application, and we are presenting that eligible application. Lewis County Public Works wishes to apply for CDBG funding to construct an additional reservoir at the Vader Water Treatment Plant site. An additional storage reservoir is identified and supported in the current water system plan for the Vader Enchanted Valley Water System. This secondary reservoir will eliminate the existing storage capacity deficiency, improve system pressures, allow options to remove the existing reservoir from service for repairs and cleaning, and provide efficient operation options when raw water is turbid. Lewis County may make only one application per year, and Public Works recommends the BOCC support this project for the 2012 application. The hearing for the grant application will be noticed in the East Lewis County Journal on February 15th and 22nd. We recommend that we hold a public hearing on February 27th, 2012, and if there are no substantial comments on the application, authorize the county engineer to sign and oversee the grant application. And this grant is applying for about $750,000 in funding for a new water reservoir for Vader Water System. This grant opportunity is the general purposes grant on the CDBG funding system and is eligible for up to $1 million in grant. This is purely a grant and not a repayable loan.
Okay, I noticed in your prep documents that that we need to appeal for low and moderate income persons residing in the Vader Enchanted Valley Water System area to make comment if they so desire. That's a condition of these CDBG grants, is it not?
That's correct. That's a good catch.
And I think that this is a really important one. As many of you know, we had to take receivership of the Vader Water System. It was in serious indebtedness and had serious problems with it, which we are trying to cope with. We have some planned upgrades to the water pipes during this summer. And this is it would be a very important addition to the system to give better capability to handle and make sure that the quality of the water available to the customers is of high quality. So this is an important effort.
Is Vader water surface water? Is that why you need to let it settle?
Yes.
Is that why we need to
Surface water, it's not, it's not a well, right?
Comes out of the cowlets.
That's correct. And the plant that we have is a filter plant that can handle actually very high turbidities, up to 300 NTUs. Thank you.
I'd point out that these are all notices of either bids or hearings. That this isn't the final project. All we do is that we're announcing that on these dates we'll hold these hearings, and then after the hearings we'll make a decision. So,
Larry Unselman, Real Estate Services Manager, speaking to item number 6, Resolution 12-55. In the matter of accepting a bid on tax title property located off Highway 603, Winlock, tax parcel 15164,004, which consists of 2/100ths of an acre of vacant land located off Highway 603, Winlock, was conveyed to Lewis County by the county treasurer following an unsuccessful attempt to sell the property at public auction. A nearby property owner is now requested to purchase the property and has submitted a bid of $120. Since the property is impractical to build on due to its size and shape, RCW 3635-150 allows for the property to be disposed of by private negotiations, providing that the final sale price is no less than the principal amount of the unpaid taxes, which in this case is $106.09. It further provides that notice shall be given to the public as required by Lewis County Code 3.30.390, providing an opportunity to compete for the purchase by offer of more favorable price. The notice of this proposed sale would be posted in the East County Journal on February 15th and 22nd.
you know, Larry, I'd point out that this is something which we have to deal with time to time. The procedure of law is that if a piece of our parcel goes without unpaid taxes for 3 years or more, that the treasurer then may sell that property for the lien. that exist on taxes. We just had a treasurer sale here last Friday, and the county is now in possession of 18 more parcels for which there were no bids. And the procedure is that if no one buys these properties in the treasurer's tax sale, then the county gets the property, and so we then are stuck with having to try to dispose of that property. And this is one of those cases, a happy case at this point. One of the problems that you have is that a lot of property and many parcels in Lewis County were the boundary marks of the property were in the 18th or 19th century. They were in what we call meets and bounds. Explained to me one time by a surveyor that my property goes from yon tree to yon rock to yon creek. And unfortunately, when GPS came out and we started finding actual boundaries, we were discovering pieces of property in contest. And when you get a little small parcel like this, it usually indicates that the actual property owner is unidentified or died or moved out of the area, and there isn't anybody to pay the taxes, and therefore we have to go through this process. Now, in this particular case, someone's bid for it, but the law requires that we say, okay, we've got a bid on the property. Now, does anybody want to pay more? If you do, it's yours. But if you're not, then we'll sell it to this person. Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michael Strozik, Director of Central Services. Item number 7 on your agenda, on your notice agenda today, is resolution number 12-056, which is a request for qualifications for a computerized jail video visitation and arraignment network system. RCW 39-04-270 regulates how we can put bids out for electronic processing systems and software. So in accordance with that RCW, we put a request for qualifications out for a video arraignment system and visitation system for Lewis County Jail. I will note that this is the second call for this system. Back in July of 2011, we put the first call out, and 3 vendors submitted proposals to us. Chief Hansen then looked at all 3 vendors and made a decision on one of them, iWebVisit. After about 6 months of, I would say, serious negotiations, he was unable to come to a contract agreement with that company. During that period, we were also contacted by several other companies, so we decided it's in the best public interest to put this back out on the street to see what else we would get. This RFQ is specifically for that. And RFQs are due no later than 4 p.m. on Monday or Friday, March 9th, 2012, to the clerk of the board. They will be opened in this room at 9:30 a.m. on Monday, March 12th, 2012. So, Chief, do you have anything?
So let me ask you, if it's on Monday at 9:30 and this board meets at 10, this is going to be a special opening?
It is going to be a special opening. It's similar that we did last time, so we don't open them in front of the board and have a hearing. The actual award will come at a later date if we are able to secure a contract with the company, and that will come at your formal hearing.
So who's going to open the bid?
Myself and Chief Hansen, and we'll have the clerk of the board with us, and it'll be recorded.
I want to hear from Kevin.
My name is Kevin Hansen. I'm the jail administrator for Lewis County Sheriff's Office. I'm here today to support the reissuance of this request for qualifications. Unfortunately, the first process didn't work out, and what it amounted to is the vendor changing the terms of the contract and requiring a guaranteed monthly revenue, which wasn't part of their original response to the request. And of course, I don't have the budget to do that. So I'm asking the board to support this and go back out for a request for qualifications.
Kevin, I think it'd be helpful for media to explain exactly what we're trying to do here and why this is important to us. And also in the issue of the arraignment, would you please explain that we're currently working with municipal courts, but we don't necessarily have an agreement with district and superior court.
The video visitation system that was installed in the jails from 2004, it's outdated, antiquated, and often doesn't work. The recording capabilities of that are with VHS tapes, and you know, those kind of went out the window years ago. The technology is advanced now to where they can do video arraignment and video visitation on what they call a cloud-based system, which is over the internet. It allows recording digital and storage digitally, which doesn't have any on-site equipment in the jail. And these vendors are willing to provide this system at no upfront cost. They'll foot the bill for all the stations and the equipment that goes in the stations. And the vendors also are willing to do what they call a revenue sharing system with us, similar to what we do with inmate telephones. I've heard some numbers in the 40% range of profit sharing. And of course, they make the revenue by charging per visit. So whether you want to, you know, mom wants to visit her kid from Olympia, and the kid's in the Lewis County Jail, they can dial up on the internet and do a visit. That's phase one. I anticipate doing this in two phases. First is to get rid of the old antiquated stuff in the jail, replace it with the new technology, open up different venues for visitation that we don't have available to us now. And the second phase would be the video arraignment part of it. I've got two local municipalities that are really interested in making this happen. And we've been working with Centralia and Chehalis municipal courts through the Law and Justice Council meetings to facilitate this. They have been involved in some of the demos and things like that. And at this point, I don't have any, at this point, our local courts aren't interested in partaking in the video arraignment portion of this. If someday they want to, that's up to them. I'm going to make the system available, show them that it works, and that if they want to do that, that's strictly their call.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any further comments on the notice agenda? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote on the notice agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, or nay. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the consent agenda, items 8 through 10, resolution number 12-057 through 12-059.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Will the clerk please read those items into the minutes?
Item 8, resolution number 12-057, approval of warrants for payment. Item 9, resolution number 12-058, approving a Title III contract with Lewis County Fire District Number 10 to accept funding under Title III of the Secure Rural Schools and Self-Determination Act of 2000. Item 10, resolution number 12-059, appointing a member to the Timberland Regional Support Network Advisory Board.
Item number 8, resolution 12057, approves 3 special purpose warrants for the Vader Water System for $213.19, and 219 warrants issued by the Auditor's Office for $489,330.35, totaling $489,543.64. Lee, do you want to take 9? Donna's going to do it?
Start with
Okay,
it.
fine. All right.
Item number 9 on the consent agenda, resolution 12-058, requesting approval of Title III contract between Lewis County and Fire District 10, which is in Packwood, to accept funding under Title III of the Secure Rural Schools and Community Self-Determination Determination Act of 2000. On March 22, 2010, the BOCC solicited projects and proposals from qualified applicants for Title III funds. All applications were received in the Commissioner's office on April 16, 2010. After a staff review of the projects, a decision was made by the BOCC to fund a 2012 project for Fire District Number 10. Notice of 45-day comment period was proposed 2011 and 2012 Title III projects was published in the paper on June 9th, 2010. This publication notice advertised the public comment period for projects available for funding. The revenue from the USDA Forest Service was received in the amount of $104,849.81 in January 2012, and with the remaining fund balance in Fund 123 of $30,048.72, the project will be approved for $134,898.53. We are requesting that the board give authorization to fund a 750-gallon pump and a 500-gallon GPM mini pump to Fire District Number 10, again in Packwood.
There's also a 3,000-gallon water tender in that, so.
There is.
Yes.
Thank you.
Additional comment, this is kind of a cleanup measure. This is funding that is left in that fund, and after this funding is dispersed, basically this funding will go away. Any new legislation that comes out from the federal government, which is what we're still working on back there, will be an entirely new program. We don't know what shape that's going to take yet, whether it'll have Title III money designated for this kind of thing, whether it'll be, what kind of a program they're going to put in place, if any. And that's all up in the air. Washington counties, Oregon counties, timber counties, counties that have a substantial amount of federal land are very interested in legislation that will come forth that will continue some kind of funding on this level. What this funding is primarily to reimburse the counties and small districts that serve the land that the federal government owns in one fashion or another. In this case, the Fire District 10 is in the middle of the Gifford Pinchot National Forest, and so the funding that's going there is to serve that area for people that get lost, people that have injuries and so on up in the National Forest. So again, this is a cleanup to maybe take care of any leftover funding that was in that fund. After this session and after this funding is awarded and is gone, then we have to go through a whole new process and get new federal funding, which is what the counties are working on back in Washington, D.C. as we speak.
And Lee, these Title III funds are specifically for fire suppression, as I recall.
Fire and emergency services, yes.
Yes.
Morning, Danette York, Director of Public Health and Social Services, speaking on item number 10, resolution number 12-059. This resolution will be for the appointment of Coralie Beck McDonald, who is from Centralia area, to the Timberland Regional Support Network Advisory Board for the period of 2 years ending in January of 2014. We received 3 applications for 1 seat that was available on the TRSN Advisory Board, and the county has chosen, or the commissioners have chosen, to appoint Mrs. Beck McDonald.
Right, and just for those who may not be aware, the Timberland Regional Support Network is the a organization through which mental health funding comes for providers in a 3-county area: Lewis, Pacific, and Wahkiakum counties. This appointment to the advisory board requires that at least 51% of the people on the board either have used mental health services or are related to persons that use mental health services. And the board advises the Board of Governors, which is made up of a commissioner from each of the 3 counties. I sit on that board myself. We've been some time with only one representative on the advisory board, Steve Clark. Now we're filling that 2nd position. Plus, last week we filled 2 vacant quality response team positions on the board as well. So now if we can get the Cowlitz tribe to nominate someone, we'll be at full strength.
We'll be done, yes.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes the comment on our consent agenda, unless there is further comments from either the audience or the board. And I will call for the vote. All in favor of the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, we have one hearing this morning regarding movement of overweight vehicles,
Over legal limit vehicles.
over legal limit vehicles. No, it's not an over legal movement, it's an over legal vehicle.
Tim's going to make you do this alone, Larry, is he?
Tim, where are you
He
going?
just bolted on you. He's not even going to back you up.
The procedure is, we'll have a staff report followed by a question and answer period, and that will then be followed by a hearing to allow for comment if there are any, and we'll proceed.
Larry Unselman, hearing regarding ordinance 1237 regarding the movement of over legal vehicles. Lewis County Code 12.10 regulates the over legal movement of vehicles on all Lewis County roadways. Situations occur where numerous vehicles, overweight, over dimension, or a combination of both, travel short distances on county roads to a specific destination on a regular basis. The current situation we have here in Lewis County is the proposed over legal roads loads into the new Ritchie Brothers auction facility, which will use approximately 340 feet of Avery Road West, which connects I-5 to the access road into their facility. So in this and other situations, it would be more expedient for the county and the destination company to enter into a haul route agreement whereby the county waives the standard permitting for the movement of the over legal vehicles, and the company agrees to accept responsibility for any and all damage to the road resulting from the movements into their facility. All other specifications and requirements of Lewis County Code 1210 would remain in effect. On January 30th of this year, this board passed Resolution 12-36, which set this date, February 13th, as a date for hearing on the matter. All required publications have been noticed since that time. This ordinance, 1237, would serve to amend Lewis County Code 12.10 to allow haul route agreements where over legal vehicles are traveling a short distance on county roads to a specific destination on a regular basis, which would be in lieu of standard permitting. This amendment will save the county administrative expense as well as being more convenient and efficient for the operators of these over legal vehicles.
Okay, Larry, just a couple of questions to help clarify what we're actually doing. Under current conditions, we have quite a few over legal limit vehicles that come through Lewis County, but they generally come through on I-5, which is a federal road maintained by the state, and they get state permits, and we don't have anything to do with that. But in this particular case, they'd be coming off I-5, traveling for a very short distance on Avery Road, and then into the facility. Now, our choice by our current LCC is to do a waiver on each movement, which could get quite extensive. So what we're essentially doing is saying, instead of waivering each truck coming in or vehicle, that we're going to do an agreement with Ritchie Brothers, who promises us that in return for this haul route agreement, if there's any damage to Avery Road, then the Ritchie Brothers would repair it. Is that essentially what we're saying?
That's exactly correct. And we've proposed in anticipation of this, we've proposed an agreement to Ritchie Brothers that they're currently reviewing, and they seem to be agreeable at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, the ramifications could very well be that we could do, with this ordinance in place and with it part of the Lewis County Code, we could then grant the same privilege to other operators, and in a similar situation, if we've got a short distance or even a longer distance possibly, if there is a continued movement like that. This is rather an unusual situation in that we do know that there are going to be a considerable number of vehicles that enter the Ritchie Brothers auction yard, and that at least some of those, probably a large portion of them, will be over legal limit vehicles. And so this is a piece of legislation that will allow that to happen without having to come in and get a permit for every piece of equipment that goes in there. If you've been at the Ritchie Brothers auction yard and know the numbers of pieces of equipment, we would expect it to be in the hundreds on any given auction, and they plan on having 5 of those a year. So this will let them have that privilege there.
Just a note on, when we talk about over legal limit, we mean loads that are over weight or over length, over height, over width, or whatever. Generally, you've run across these on I-5 with a lead vehicle, usually about a half mile in front of the load, so I don't know what good they're doing. And then a trailing vehicle with lights, and then the special lights on the vehicle itself to warn traffic that the actual vehicle is over the specifications, and they have to be cautious going around it. That's what we're talking about, and we'll see a lot of those come in because Ritchie Brothers sells road grading equipment and other large pieces of equipment that are over the legal limits.
So Larry, what kind of damages would we anticipate on the roads?
I'm not sure that we anticipate any, but some that could occur would be rutting, for instance, if they were moving heavy equipment when the weather is hot and the asphalt might be soft. That would be probably one of the...
or if one slips off the road and damages the edge, whatever?
Yeah, turning in, shoulder damage, something like that, yes.
Any questions?
Is it true the faster they go, the less damage they do to the road?
You'd have to take that up with our traffic engineer.
Because it's hard to get up ahead of steam when you're only going at 340 feet.
Actually, those ones could probably go 50 miles an hour past Boyceford.
Are there any other questions for Larry? Hearing none, I'll close the question and answer period and open it up for the hearing. Larry, would you like your comments to be incorporated into the hearing?
Yes, please.
Having done so, is there any other comment on this ordinance? A comment on the ordinance?
Tim, you want to comment?
Tim Elsey, Lewis County Public Works Director. I do think Commissioner Gross brought up a very good point in that this is a hole that was missing in the Lewis County codes at this point, and something that we will use not only in this instance, it will be used in other instances. It was just brought to light by the fact that we would have to issue a permit for virtually every vehicle that went into Ritchie Brothers prior to and after these auctions, and it made it untenable for us to be able to do that. So this is going to be a tool that we will be able to use maybe for logging operations or something like that in the future, where we would not have to permit every single truck.
Good, thank you. Thank you. Any other comment? Then I will close the hearing and we'll call for the vote on.
You need to read it into the record, Mr.
Oh,
Chairman.
better read it in the records, okay.
You didn't make a motion, did you?
Okay, we close the hearing, and then I'd make a motion to approve Ordinance 1237, movement of over legal limit vehicles.
I second that.
Motion made and seconded to approve. I have trouble finding the ordinance. Will the clerk read that item into the minutes, please?
In the matter of an ordinance of Lewis County, Washington, amending Lewis County Code 1210.10 regarding over legal movement of vehicles on Lewis County roads. This is ordinance number 1237.
Any further comment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I think that this is a really, really good fix. As people know, Ritchie Brothers is in the final stages of preparing their new facility here in Lewis County, moving down from Thurston County where they didn't have enough room for their auctions. They will be doing 5 or more auctions a year. And if you've ever had the experience to go by their auction site in Thurston County when an auction was taking place, you will note that that lot was just full of various types of large equipment, which is put up for auction, and the people from all over the United States and even international buyers come in to their auctions when they're held here. They were constricted at the Thurston County site with not enough room for either their auction items or the people that came to those auctions, and that was one of the reasons they moved into Lewis County. And I think that helping to resolve what could be a very time-consuming and expensive and onerous process by this establishment of a haul route agreement is a great solution to it. And my thanks to the Public Works Department of thinking of this and getting together with Ritchie Brothers and working this solution out.
And this is very timely because my understanding is they're planning on having their first auction here at the end of March. And so they're going to start moving equipment. You'll probably see equipment start moving in there within the week, I would even guess, that we'll probably start seeing stuff go in there. So it's a very timely resolution of this issue. And I will say, too, that I've been asked from time to time, what did the county have to give up in order to get Ritchie Brothers here? Thinking that we gave them the farm. We didn't. This is the only concession that I know of that we have made to Ritchie Brothers to allow them to operate in Lewis County. Everything else has been, the only other thing we did was to go to the legislature and ask for the legislation that would pass. We supported that legislation. But we didn't give anything that I can think of that encourages them to be here except our support for that. Any other comment? Then I'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I see no further business. I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned.